So we covered all of the Lord of the Rings good lists.
Yep, we did. Now it's time to be evil.
By good lists, I don't mean like the ones that are good.
I mean, maybe. We haven't got through them yet. Yeah. We don't know.
Forces of good, I should say.
Yes.
So now it's time to look at the evil army lists from the Lord of the Rings. Not the Hobbit. That's coming next week, maybe. Yes. Possibly, hopefully.
It's Christmas, it's hard to tell.
See how Christmas goes. All right, let's, I guess, get straight into this.
Okay. Would you like to start or shall I?
Go for it, man. You go for it. You go for it.
Okay, to me indeed. Let's start then with number 1, the Lord of the Ring himself, Mr. Barad-dur Sauron. Yeah, so we'll start with Barad-dur. Of course, this is Sauron's list. Mr. 400-point Dark Lord Sauron, who has to be in the list.
Do you know what? Before you even start this.
Yes.
This afternoon I saw a post on Facebook. If you watch this video, I don't know your name, sorry. I'm not taking the mick, but I saw somebody call Sauron something like a burden in this list, like a 400-point burden.
Right, okay. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't understand why you would...
Sauron's amazing.
But why would you ever consider running this list if you weren't running Sauron?
They were basically saying, like, is Barad-dur, like, a viable competitive option with such a weighty burden in the list?
Honestly, yeah, I would take that burden.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at the list.
I mean, see, we're doing a 500-point tournament beginning of the year, and, 3 battles, a 400-point, 450, 500. I'll be tempted to run Sauron at just the 400.
Yeah.
Don't know how well it'd go, but it'd be fun. Anyway, okay, yes, let's start with the actual list then, shall we? So yes, obviously you have Sauron, then you can also run the Witch King, Ring Wraiths, Orc Captains, Troll Chieftains, Orc Drummers, Orc Warriors, Warg Riders, Mordor Trolls, and Mordor War Catapults, who can fire severed heads and flaming ammunition.
Catapults.
Catapults. Yes, so obviously their additional rule is you have to run Sauron, who is always the general. But along with this, we got the power of the ring could not be undone, which is basically, so long as Sauron has at least 3 wounds remaining, a Barad-dur army can never be counted as broken. Should he have 2 or fewer wounds, it will break as normal, and if he's removed, it will immediately count as being broken. And to be honest, getting him down to that few wounds is hard going anyway.
Yeah, it's tough.
And actually removing him from the table is a whole other challenge. But along with that, Sauron can have 24 in his warband instead of 18. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
And victory is at hand is, so long as Sauron is alive and on the battlefield, friendly orc models gain +1 bonus to any courage tests that they require to take. I'm not going to lie, there's a few heroes that do +1 courage.
Yeah.
I feel like Sauron should be more than that for orcs.
Yeah, that's hard to argue, especially because orcs are not brave in general. So when they're around Sauron, they probably should be.
Like, at least +2.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Barad-dur. It's, yeah, obviously it focuses completely around Sauron himself. And you probably have to take as many orcs as possible to not risk being outnumbered too much. But I think it's a pretty fun list.
Yeah, it's one of those. Sauron's obviously one of the most expensive models in the game of 400 points.
Yeah.
But it doesn't quite balance it out. But the warriors are very, very cheap, almost horde-like. So yeah, even at 500-600 points, you can take a reasonable amount of models.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at, say you just took orcs with a single weapon as such, that's 6 points each.
Yeah.
So you got 400 points, to get to 5, that's another 100 points worth, so what's that taking? Another 15, 16 you pretty much getting just for 500 points. So, although it's not like a massive amount, considering you've got a 400 point hero, it's not the worst.
That's 5 models less than I ran in our 500 point tournament last month. And I was Mirkwood Elves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you said to me, would you rather Sauron or Thranduil? Thranduil's awesome, as we'll get to in a future episode. But Sauron is just a different beast.
Oh, yeah. I like this list.
Yeah, same.
Fun.
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe this is fun.
Yes. And we're really due a Sauron appearance on this channel, I think.
Definitely are. All right, moving on.
Okay.
We have, and this is a new addition, the Black Riders. Oof. I'm going to kind of keep cutting to these book shots just to give you guys a look at these lovely images that Games Workshop are providing in these books. So, the Black Riders is what it says on the tin, really. It's the Nazgul on horses. So you can have the Witch King on horse and Ring Wraiths on horse. Their rules are Terror in the Night. An enemy model within range of multiple friendly Ring Wraith models, Harbinger of Evil special rule, will suffer a -2 to their courage instead of 1. Cool.
Okay.
Screech of the Nazgul. A friendly Ring Wraith model can use this special rule at the start of their activation. If they do, choose an enemy model within 12 and line of sight of the Ring Wraith. The chosen model is immediately subject to the Transfix magical power, which will count as being cast on a 6. They may then take a resist test as normal. A Ring Wraith model that uses this special rule cannot also cast a magical power during their activation. Only a single Ring Wraith can use this special rule each turn, and each Ring Wraith can only use this special rule once per game. Wordy one. Next, the Will of Sauron. Friendly Ring Wraith models do not lose a will point for being engaged in combat.
That's good.
That's very important.
I feel it's just essential for them.
Yeah. It's nothing worse than running some Ring Wraiths, spending loads of points on them, and the next thing you know, they get caught in combat for like 6 turns in a row and they die, or they flee. It's so frustrating. So losing that is very important. Hunt the Ringbearer. At the start of the fight phase, before any heroic actions are declared, a single friendly Ring Wraith may declare a heroic combat for free. Nice. This can only be done if the heroic combat be successful. Should the heroic combat be successful, the Ring Wraith could charge the Ringbearer. If the heroic combat is successful, Ring Wraith must charge the Ringbearer, though any other models involved in the heroic combat may act as normal.
Okay, that's... Yeah.
It's okay, it's alright.
Yeah. Like, I think we've covered it before. Not massive fan of hero-only lists.
No.
There's one or two that seem okay, but a lot of them just don't particularly appeal. And the Nazgul don't particularly appeal to me either, which may be like I get a hot take to some people. Lots of people love them, especially the Witch King.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit, they're cool, they're all right. They're obviously good, but I just don't overly enjoy playing them.
No, I think if you did want to run a list that was only Nazgul, it's quite an interesting one because they are all mounted. They don't lose their will in combat. It's okay. If you're good, at least, or experienced with magic, and you can make it work, I suck with magic, then I think it's an okay list.
Yeah, although maybe a debate that this next one, if you're going to run the Ring Wraith, is actually the one to play them with.
It's definitely a cooler one.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the coolest lists, but whether it's viable or not, it probably is. I just, I'm not the best player in the world, so who am I to say?
So let's move on to it. Wraiths on Wings. Obviously, this is the Fell Beast version of the Wraith list. So you have the Witch King of Angmar and Ring Wraiths. Witch King in this one has 2 attacks, 2 might, 14 will, 2 fate with the Fell Beast, because remember now, you don't get to choose how much might, will, and fate the Ring Wraiths and the Witch King get. It's a preset thing in the army lists, which is a big change to them, to be fair. But sometimes it's easier for the beginners getting into it to just go, okay, this is the character you get. Higher up you go in like the competitive field, I guess it's not as much fun. But obviously, rules for this is you can only have 8 Ring Wraiths in the Witch King. Makes sense, really. And they have some cool special rules though. So you have Full Force Charge. The first time a friendly monster model charges during its activation, it may choose to use this special rule. If it does, each model it has charged suffers a strength 5 hit. Cavalry models suffer these hits on both the mount and the rider. If after these hits have been resolved, the monster is no longer engaged in combat, it may continue its activation and may even charge again if it wishes, though if it does, any subsequent charges will not confer this effect. That is pretty beastie. Strength 5 hits on a charge, which could kill, and then you could charge again. It's nice.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But it's not just that, they've also got strafing attacks.
Strafing.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what that means, if I'm perfectly honest.
English is hard, right, James?
English be hard.
It's because we're Welsh, so English is our second language.
I don't know what our first is then. Lord of the Rings is our first. So, at the end of a friendly monster's model's move, if it's not engaged in combat, you may choose a single enemy model that is not engaged in combat that lies in the direct path between where the monster began its move and where it finished its move. The path is the same width as the monster's model's base. The chosen model suffers a strength 5 hit, and if it survives, will be knocked prone. Cavalry monsters again suffer these hits to both the mount and the rider. This reminds me of a Custodes bike effect. And again, I like that. If you're flying over stuff, you're flying low, there are some beastie wings to be hit by, there's going to be some damage just from the wind power. I think that's a cool one.
I do think it's really cool. And I also think just looking at the board running this list, it would just look gangster. So it's one I want to run at least once purely for aesthetic reasons.
Yeah.
However, I really don't want to paint it.
How about you run that and I will run a list where I can have 100% archers. But no, but the thing is though, so that strafing attack, I will also add, it feels very good, but obviously you can't end up in combat, and it's only to one enemy model. So I feel like it's almost every model under the path should count. Yeah. Or it should still count if you end up in combat. Yeah. I feel like it should be one or the other. I don't know if, it's still cool. I'm not going to deny it, but yeah, you know.
I would like to, I'm excited for this new era of the game.
Yes.
Because I really want to see, like, through GBHL events and things like that, I want to see what starts rising to the top, like what becomes the meta. Because it could be something that completely surprises us like this.
That is true. And talking of GBHL events, is there some news that maybe you want to share?
Yeah, there is. So, you may know that we ran a tournament about a month ago, and from our point of view, at least, it was very successful. We sold out the amount of tickets that we had available, and everyone seemed to have a great time. So we've organised another one. Tickets should be going up around the time this video does. I don't know exactly when, but it's called Shadow and Flame. We've upped the capacity a little bit by 4, and it is a GBHL 90 accredited tournament. So it is a ranking event for GBHL. Very, very exciting. We cannot wait. It's a 600-point tournament. And yeah, sign up to it. What are you waiting for?
There we go.
Moving on.
Let's continue.
Next up then, we have Army of Gothmog. Ooh. Oh, I nearly did it in one. There we go.
I like the idea of this list, but I'm not sure it kind of works in practice as well.
Well, Gothmog I think was nerfed, at least a little. Right, what can you take? Gothmog, Wraiths, Gothmog's Enforcer, Moranan Orc Captain, Moranan Orc, Mordor Troll, Mordor War, Catapult. I love the fact that you can arm the catapult with severed heads for 20 points. That's just a great addition. Special rules then, the destruction of men. The range of Gothmogs, the age of men is over. Special rule is increased to 12. Increased to 12. And additionally, the range of Gothmogs, time of the orc has come. It's my best Gothmog impression. It's increased to battlefield wide.
That's our thumbnail.
Tyrannical rule. Friendly orc hero models may benefit from Gothmog Stand Fast. That's cool. And Ruthless Assault. Friendly orc models may re-roll to wound rolls of a natural 1 when making strikes against a trapped opponent. It just seems so unnecessary. You're already getting double attacks. Natural 1 rules suck, let alone when it's specific to something like being trapped.
Yeah. And straight away, something that stands out.
Yeah.
There's no shooting in this list. It's very...
No, it's only Moranans.
Yeah, like obviously they're tough in battle, so you just want to be getting them in. But there's no real shooting in it at all. Yes, you can have a catapult. Or trolls can throw stones. But that's really it, and that's not... You don't exactly take that as an archery type list. I know orcs aren't the best shooting anyway, but still.
There's also no speed. Like, well, Gothmog can have a warg, but that's literally it.
Yeah, you're not exactly sending him off on his own, so if nothing else can go with him, it's almost a bit...
You look at things like this, like Gothmog is a hero of legend. He commands the forces of Sauron effectively, outside of the Witch King. He also gets rules like other heroes benefit from his stand fast, meaning they really respect him, you know, and he encourages them. I want to know Gothmog's backstory. I want a backstory movie for Gothmog. How did he get those horrific injuries, you know?
How did he get those scars?
Yeah, you want to know? Anyway, it's an okay list. Doesn't excite me.
No.
So far, none of these really excite me. Wraith on Wings is pretty cool, but...
Yeah, like, they have their odd little bits, but nothing stands out.
Yeah, I'm not rushing to play any of these so far. Okay.
Okay, now we move on to the Legions of Mordor.
Roll your R's, James.
There we go.
Mordor.
Okay, anyway.
James literally can't roll his
No, I
R's.
don't. I don't know how. I don't get it. Anyway, Legions of Mordor. So these are a bit different in that there's a bit more variety for once. We actually get a whole page of things.
But one special rule.
Yes. But first, to go through what we can have, the Witch King of Angmar, Ringwraiths, Gothmog, Mumuk War Leader, Wraiths, Gothmog's Enforcers, Moranan Orc Captain, Haradrim Chieftain, War Mumuk of Harad, Easterling Captain, Moranan Orc Warriors, Mordor Trolls, Mordor War Catapults, Haradrim Warriors, and Easterling Warriors as well. With these, it's pretty obvious in the sense of Mordor Warriors have to go with Mordor heroes, Harad with Harad, Eastlings with Eastlings, and the only special rule they get that will win you any game, and I mean any game. Friendly hero models may reroll to wound rolls of a natural 1 when making strikes against enemy hero models.
That is weirdly specific.
It's
Crap.
incredibly...
Crap.
Yes, that word that's nicer than the one I might have said.
That sucks.
It's just, what is the point? It's just a case of, I feel like it's them going, we've got to give them a special rule. It's like there's so much variety. You know, you could bring your Harad, your Mordor, your Eastlings all together, have a cool Pelennor Fields type combination. But they just didn't bring anything to like stick them together. It feels very like you're just picking up random things and they don't connect.
Yeah, I mean, in defense of that, I guess a lot of these evil armies have in themselves quite cool rules, and when you can put so many different things together, Harad, Morannon Orcs, Eastlings, Mordor Orcs, then they do become quite powerful. You can also have Moomakills, Fell Beasts, like there's a lot you can put in this. So maybe adding like 4 special rules to that would make them almost too good.
Yeah, I do.
Which is why they've given them a really crap singular special rule.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it before with the Kings of Men army. Like, it's cool because it means you can put a load of different stuff together. You just kind of don't get the named heroes. But their special rules kind of come around the kings themselves. So I guess if you took out that as a special rule because that would be your leader, they didn't really get it either. So I guess it does kind of make sense. But yeah, like, this is potentially what almost took down Minas Tirith. And there's just nothing special at all about that. I don't know. I understand
the variety
to a degree,
is the attraction, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it probably will be a fairly popular list purely because you can have variety. And I believe it's currently one of the only lists that allows Easterlings.
Probably, this stage, We haven't got everything else yet because there's a certain book that we're waiting for. Maybe. I mean, is there? I don't know. Maybe all the lists are just gone. Maybe if we check the Facebook pages, they'll...
Oh, God.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to move on then to Minas Morgul, but before we look at that, let's take a moment to thank our first sponsor.
If you like the look of the dice we've been using here today and would like to get some for yourself, then be sure to head over to baronofdice.com. There you can pick up dice for whatever army it is you play, whether it be in Middle-earth, for 40k, Age of Sigmar, and more. Maybe you just need some D&D dice. Whatever you need, the Baron will have them. You can also order your own custom dice. If you pick anything up, be sure to use the code TTAlliance for 5% off your order. Thanks, as always, to Baron of Dice for the support.
Thanks, Baron of Dice. So, Minas Morgul, I'm going to have to show you the art for this one. It's very, very nice. Oof.
One day we will have our Minas Morgul board.
Yeah, but it is not this day, sadly.
It'll have lots of green LEDs.
If anybody wants to make us a Minas Morgul, we'll say a name on the channel or something.
You can come be in the video.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, anyone that's got like cool stuff like that, if you want to come and be in a battle and bring some cool terrain or cool armies, whatever, like definitely do it. Like we absolutely would love to do stuff like that. Anyway, Minas Morgul. Witch King of Angmar. Ring Wraiths. Fell Beasts are available for both, by the way. Heroes of Fortune are your Mordor Orc Captain, Morannon Orc Captain, Mordor Orc Taskmaster, Mordor Orc Drummer. Then Warriors, we have Mordor Orc Warriors, Morannon Orc Warriors, Mordor Troll, and Spectres. So we can actually mix Mordor Orcs and Morannon Orcs in this one. And Spectres is quite a cool addition too. But what about the special rules? We've got a few. We've got the Dead City, which is Mordor Orc Captains and Mordor Orc Warriors gain Blades of the Dead. That's quite a cool one.
Interesting.
That is quite a cool one. Call of Morgul. If the enemy army contains a ring bearer, they suffer a -1 penalty when rolling for Sauron's will. How often do you really come up against a ring bearer?
I don't think I ever have.
You have against me once.
We did?
When I had Faramir, because I had to have...
Oh yeah, no, that's true, yeah.
Lead through fear. Friendly orc models within 3 inches of a friendly spirit model automatically pass courage tests when attempting to charge a model with terror.
Okay. So the thing that stands out for me for this list is the Blaze of the Dead special.
Yes.
That is potentially huge.
Yeah.
Obviously, it does its biggest damage against evil armies because the lowest courage. But the good side's courage isn't always incredible either. And quite often the high courage also have high defense. So there's probably very few situations you're worse off with this.
No, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, let's look at Rohan, for example. What are they? Defense 6 with a shield? Or defense 5 with a shield?
I think 5 with a shield.
And courage, what, 3 plus?
3, yeah.
Or like 7
Well,
plus,
yeah.
so 3. Yeah. It's a pretty interesting addition. I know that most people that play the Witch King do quite well at tournaments. If you run the Witch King well, competitively he's a beast. And being able to have this with Blades of the Dead Orcs,
Yeah.
I think that this could rise through the ranks quite quick.
I think though there's been a slight change to some of the wording in that, and I might be getting this wrong now because still trying to get head around the new stuff a bit, but stuff like terror, I think it affects the rolls more than the stat now. So for example, where you could have like -1 courage, then that would make your defense worse against Blades of the Dead. I don't think that's the case now. I think it's against the roll if you've got to do courage tests.
Right.
I may be completely wrong, but I feel like I heard someone discussing that
Okay.
and saying that, yeah, it's kind of different now. So it's not just a case of, yeah, if you can tank their courage, then they become like everything's on 3s kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's actually, no, there's a limit to it.
Okay, fair enough.
I may be wrong though, who knows?
I do like this list though.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Definitely.
Cirith Ungol up next. Again, we'll take a look at
Okay.
the image.
So straight away, I see a nice spider.
Yeah, it's funny, like that puts me off immediately, but also due to my fear of spiders, I kind of want to have a go. They just look cool on the board. They do look cool.
They do. I wanted just the beasts and monsters. And
We've got a
all things
Shelob
gross.
model, but we literally can't build it.
The legs just,
They won't
Yeah.
stick.
yeah.
Oh, I hate metal models.
Okay, so with that, this is the Gorbag and Shagrat list. Shagrat is the big one at 110 points, Gorbag is only 60, but you must have both if you are to run this army. However, Shagrat is the one who has to be your general. Although they have kind of nerfed Shagrat a bit, so it's a bit sad on him. But anyway, their special rules are Animosity. Friendly Orc models gain a bonus of +1 to wound when making strikes if there are friendly Uruk-hai models engaged in the same combat, and basically vice versa, Uruk-hai get the +1 if there are Orcs in the same combat. I feel like there's a shorter way to word that, really.
Yeah.
So they also have rivals for power. So keep track of how many models Gorbag and Shagrat have each killed. If at any point either of them has fewer kills than the other, the model may re-roll a single d6 during a duel roll, the one that's losing, of course. And finally, Swift Hunter. During the declare heroic action step of the move phase, Shelob can choose to kill a friendly model within 1 inch of her, remove the chosen model as a casualty. If she does, Shelob may declare a heroic move for free, though she may not shout "with me" as part of that heroic move.
Thank God, because imagine a giant spider shouting with me.
Yeah, not just that, after like devouring an orc and then going with a mouthful of orc.
That's how I imagine a spider would sound.
Yeah, this really appeals to me.
It is cool.
Yeah. Like, I love the idea of Shelob. Admittedly 100 points, so
Good though.
maybe once you, But you are also taking a lot of Mordor Orcs to go with Gorbag. Mordor Uruk-hai, slightly more expensive, but not ridiculous.
I really like Gorbag and Shagrat as characters, like in the game and in the lore. Shagrat, however, is pricey. Is he over 100 points?
110 still. And they've gotten rid of his shield,
Yeah.
and there was something else.
The knocked prone thing.
Yeah, which we think was with the shield, so yeah, it kind of makes sense. But to me, the thing that stands out is that Uruk-hai and Orc +1 to wound if there's Uruk-hai and Orcs in the combat. Like, if you think Uruk-hai is going to be strength 4, and then they're going to get a +1 to wound, that could be pretty deadly at times.
And if you just build your list based around that rule almost and take a quite even split of Uruks and Orcs where possible.
Yeah, if you can end up lining them up to just basically be every other. Or, I guess in theory, if you had Uruk-hai at the front,
Yeah.
reinforced by spears, the
Yeah.
Orcs,
Just have loads of spears.
then yeah, I assume that would count. They're engaged in the same combat, so
But I think when it's worded like that, supports don't count as being involved in the combat. So it's a discuss with your opponent type situation.
yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
How would you take that? Would you count the support as being in the battle, or do you think it has to be the base to base? Yeah, that's a. I think whichever makes it better for you, that's the one you want at the time.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So we're on to the Black Gate. So
Okay.
these are the sort of moments that appeal to me more. I don't really like the generic, look at the attack of Pelennor Fields, the defensive Pelennor, all those sort of things. I prefer smaller moments. And I think the Black Gate with more unique characters that are only used in niche situations, for example, the Mouth of Sauron, they appeal to me a lot more. So, army composition. Mouth of Sauron, the Mordor Troll Chieftain, Ring Wraith, which can have a Fell Beast, Morannon Orc Captain, Mordor Orc Taskmaster, Morannon Orc Warriors, and a Mordor Troll. You can also give it a drum. Yeah. It must... additional rule. It must always contain a Mordor Troll Chieftain who is always the army's general.
Oh, I guess because he's the one who fights Aragorn, they've made that a thing. Yeah.
What? This is weird. So this is the full sentence.
Okay.
A Black Gate army must always contain a Mordor Troll Chieftain, who is always the army's general and the Mouth of Sauron.
Okay. So,
What?
So basically, you've got to take both every time. You've got to have a Troll Chieftain and the Mouth of Sauron.
It's just, I feel like that's not structured well.
So you've got to take the Troll Chieftain, who has to be the general, and you also have to take the Mouth of Sauron.
Yeah, okay.
And
Special rules.
Yeah, cool.
Greatest of the Trolls. The Mordor Troll Chieftain is your general. That is your general, gains the Fearless special rule. And an additional point of Might, Will, and Fate. Very, very useful. The Hordes of Mordor. Friendly Mordor Orc models engaged in combat gain a bonus of +1 to wound when making strikes against an outnumbered opponent.
Okay.
The chances of not outnumbering your opponents with this sort of list are...
Unless you go Troll heavy. Well, I suppose, though, it takes one Ring Wraith on a Foul Beast, and suddenly, maybe.
Oh no, it comes on a Fell Beast.
Oh, you right, okay.
And Temptation of Sauron. At the start of each move phase, before the declare heroic action step, you may choose a single model on the battlefield. The chosen model must immediately take an intelligence test. First time we've seen that. If the test has failed, you may immediately move the chosen model up to its move value, following all the usual rules for moving, including making them charge if you wish. It may not move later in the move phase, but will otherwise act normally.
Okay.
You know what? I quite like this list.
Same. I will fully admit, off the top of my head, I can't think how good the Mouth of Sauron is, but I like the idea of it.
Do we have a Mouth of Sauron? I don't think we do.
I'm not sure we do, actually. But we also don't have a Troll Chieftain, which is something I've always wanted because I think they look so awesome. And they have helped Trolls in this edition a bit. So, admittedly, last edition they were like, you just don't take them. They were never really worth it. But they've kind of improved them a bit now that I do want to try them again and kind of give them another chance.
Yeah, every time you've used Trolls,
Yeah.
especially on the channel, this not gone well.
It's a new edition. New edition, new me.
Yeah, new Troll.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like this list. I mean, again, this is a common occurrence. Not a lot of variety. Very much brute force, get your Trolls and your Morannons in there and punch. But yeah, I think it could be fun. The buffed up Chieftain and the +1 to wound when you're outnumbering, that's a big buff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is next?
Okay, moving on from the Black Gate, we have... We're going across to Isengard now for the Army of the White Hand. Now, this may not be the best Isengard one, but it is definitely a cool one, and you'll see why now. So, of course, Saruman is the hero of legend for this, who you can take on a horse here. You can also have the Wildman Oathmaker, Isengard Orc Captain, Wildman Chieftain, Uruk-hai Scout Captain, and the legendary Grima Wormtongue. And for standard warriors, you can have Uruk-hai Scouts, Wildmen of Dunland, Isengard Orc Warriors, Isengard Warg Riders, and the Crabine, who could be very useful in this. As their special roles, we have Serve the White Hand. Other friendly models that can draw line of sight to Saruman gain a bonus to +1 to any courage test they are required to take. That can be very useful when you're evil. We have the Voice of Saruman. Now this one's awesome. So during his activation, Saruman can use one of the following abilities instead of casting a magical power. Each of these abilities can only be used once per game. So we have Conjure Lightning. Choose a point on the battlefield at least 12 inches away from any friendly model, with the exception of Grima Wormtongue, because he's expendable. Each model within 2 inches of the chosen point suffers a Strength 6 hit. If a cavalry model is affected, both the rider and the mount are affected. Then you have Summon Gale. Until the end of the turn, enemy models halve their move value. And finally, you have Call Thunder. Until the end of the turn, enemy models have the Fearful special rule. They're pretty cool. And finally, the only other one is Spies of Saruman. Saruman can draw line of sight from any friendly Krebine models on the battlefield. So basically, he could cast using line of sight of a different model, and he could basically stay hidden, which could be very useful.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's that Voice of Saruman special abilities that kind of stand out to me.
Oh yeah.
Like, admittedly,
You can't use other magic, right?
not on the same turn you use one of them, no. And you can only use each, so you can use each one once, but you can't, yeah. So you can do it 3 times technically, but only each one once a game.
They're all pretty cool. Like half movement for a turn is like it has the potential to be game changing.
Yep.
Like literally in our tournament, there was a moment where I was inches away from hitting objective markers and literally scoring max the next turn. So it literally almost felt like I was under a spell like that. Like, God, I'm just so close, just give me another 2 inches.
Yeah, I mean,
Moving on.
yes, moving on. It's a cool Isengard list. However, I feel like there are better ones to get.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would agree. That old captain's painted weird.
The only thing I really wish you could take from this somewhere else is that Voice of Saruman special rule. But if you took that out, then yeah, this would not be the one I'd choose to run.
I really don't like the Krebine models.
No, I know
They
what
just
you
look like
mean.
they're branches.
Yeah,
It's just a bit dumb, really.
yeah. Maybe we'll get some new ones.
We won't.
No,
Definitely won't.
definitely won't.
Next up is Lurtz's Scout, which is actually
My boys.
it's the list that James ran most recently. So let's take a look at this. Composition. You have Lurtz. Wrong button. Ugluk, Uruk-hai Scout Captain, Uruk-hai Drummer, and Uruk-hai Scouts. Not a lot to it, but I mean, already the negative to this is no Mauher, no Vrasku. They're gone. They're gone.
Was Vrasku in that list? I'm not sure Vrasku was in
Vrasku
the
might
Scouts.
not have been available.
No,
Mauher was, though.
Mauher's gone, but the reason to take him has kind of been...
Yeah, it's been included
Yeah.
in the rules. So again, Relentless March. Friendly models increase their move value to 8 inches. Additionally, they gain the Woodland Creature Special rule. So yeah, Mauher basically applied the extra movement to
It just means now
Scouts.
you're going to have to take a captain instead who would have 1 less attack, because Mauher actually had 3, and 1 less point of might.
But less points.
Yeah.
So it kind of evens out. Next rule, you do not know pain, you do not know fear. The breakpoint for Lurtz's Scouts is 66% rather than 50. And kill the others. Lurtz gains the General Hunter special rule and may declare heroic combat each turn for free. Yeah.
Lurtz hit hard for me. I had a couple of instances in the tournament where like he was the one to just take down the big people that my opponents were playing. Him and Ugluk together, really, that combination was brilliant for me. And if I could have got 3 heroic combats in that as well, I think I maybe, the game I lost, I maybe could have turned.
Yeah, I mean, Lurtz is a big hitter.
Yeah.
Having strong people like Uruk-hai move quickly, I find is quite a intimidating prospect, you know?
Yes. Yeah, the only thing with this list now is you can still take a drummer for 35 points, but if I'm remembering correctly, drummers and heroics can't stack anymore. So, although you could do it on different turns, there was the potential before 14-inch movements, which is insane. And now that's kind of gone. So whether it's actually worth the points of a drummer anymore is really up for debate.
Yeah, that's very true. So you've had multiple games with this list in the old edition. Is it still as appealing to you?
I would still run it. I would still run it, yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I feel like I'm going to have to for a comparison.
Yeah, fair.
But then make a bigger judgment. But
Let's compare
Yeah.
it to the next one
Okay.
first, because I feel like it's similar,
yes,
it's different.
yes, this one may have taken over it slightly. And this is Ugluk Scouts. Although obviously that means you can't take Lurtz anymore. You have Ugluk, Grushnak, Snugger, Uruk-hai Scout Captain or Isengard Orc Captain, as well as Uruk-hai Drummer, Uruk-hai Scout, and Isengard Orc Warriors. So with this one, you obviously have to take Ugluk as your general. Orc Warriors have to go with an Orc hero, Uruks with an Uruk hero. Now their special rules. Their pace is quickened. Friendly Uruk-hai models are increased their move to 8 inches with the Woodland Creature special rule as well. Yep, pretty much the same for the scouts, and get a fire going. So once per game, in scenarios that use objective markers, Ugluk can use this special rule during his move to choose an objective marker in base contact. So long then, as Ugluk is alive and on the battlefield, friendly models within range of that chosen objective marker will gain the dominant 2 special rule. So if there's a very important objective marker in any scenario, that could be huge.
Yeah, the scenarios where it's like your opponent's deployment zone when they're worth a lot more VP.
Yeah, that could be massive. And then the other special rule is Animosity. So this is basically the same as the Gorbag and Shagrat one. Orcs get +1 to wound if there's Orcs in the thing, and Orcs with Orcs. So yeah, that's pretty much the same. However, it almost works better in this list because Ugluk has his own specials. And his one, basically he can kill a friendly Orc to gain buffs, one of which is +1 to wound for the turn. Yeah? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm remembering that right. So that basically means there is a turn in the game, if there's Orcs and Urks in the same combat, the Urks could be getting +2 to wound. So that's strength.
If they definitely stack, which I assume they do.
There's nothing that says they don't. So I assume that they would. Yes, that means you're getting strength 4 Urks and potentially a strength 5 Ugluk, who does technically have the option of strength. I think, no. Does he have strength? I might be mixing them up with Lurtz there actually. But either way, strength 5 at the very least, +2 to wound. If you use that at the right time, you are taking some stuff out.
Yeah, that's insane. Plus, this list has Snagger, which is, I'm pretty sure, the what about their legs?
You don't need those.
Is that him or is that Grishnak that says that? I don't know.
You made me question that.
It's one of them, although it's a fun line to make fun of. Okay, before we move on to the next list, I think we should thank our second sponsor.
If you want to grab some miniatures to add some extra spice to your armies like we do, then check out Forgemaster Miniatures. It's no secret that building armies can be pretty expensive, but that's only really if you're using official models. Not only does using proxies give your armies more variety and makes them unique, but it also makes them extremely affordable. Forgemaster genuinely print the nicest quality minis I have ever used. They are a joy to paint and to play with. You can also make them even cheaper with a massive 15% off with the code TTA15. Link is in the description. Thanks as always to Forgemaster Miniatures.
Thank you, Forgemaster Miniatures.
Hey.
So, Wolves of Isengard. I haven't shown off any of the pictures for a while. Wolves of Isengard is the list that's up next. I'm really bad at lining that up with the camera, I do apologise. Not a sort of list that's ever appealed to me, running wargs. Don't know why, because running all cavalry, when it's a good army, does appeal to me. However, army composition for this is Shaku, so it's very obvious what moment in the movie they're going for here. Isengard Orc Captain, Isengard Warg Rider, and Isengard Wargs. Those are your options. A Wolves of Isengard army may have up to 50% of its warrior models armed with throwing spears rather than 33.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Special rules, leader of the pack, Shaku may declare a free heroic combat each turn. It's a big one.
Ooh.
Friendly, it's always big when a cavalry model gets a free heroic.
Yeah.
That's huge. Savage Charge, friendly cavalry models still gain the extra attack bonus even when they charge a cavalry model. And will retain it even if they are subsequently charged by a cavalry model. That's big. Warg Scouts, at the start of the game after both sides have deployed but before the first priority has been rolled, you may select up to D6 friendly warrior models. The selected models may immediately move as if it were the move phase, and then make a shooting attack as if it were the shoot phase. And then make a... what? Yeah. Wow, yeah, okay. During this move, friendly models may not move within 1 inch. Okay, so you can't charge.
Okay.
In scenarios where models enter the board, the selected models will move onto the board before the first turn of the game, treating any roll to enter the board as a 6. Each model is treated as a separate warband in this instance. It's just like a free move. So an unreturned move.
Yeah, so basically, if you roll a 6, you could have 6 wargs that move 20 inches. Because they basically get a move and shoot, and then they'll get their actual move and shoot, right? Is that what you mean?
Yes, but if you're going to shoot, you're not going to move full.
True.
So yeah.
But still, there's still a potential 20-inch move.
Yeah. And if you've got throwing spears as well, you've got potentially a lot that can... Yeah, that's really cool. If you build this list properly, that's it's like a cheat code.
For ball control, that could be insane.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have...
I guess the only downside is they are a bit squishy.
Yeah, they're not too hard to
What's
kill.
the points of a Warg Rider? 11?
11, yeah.
Although if you want a shield and a throwing spear, 13. So you're still getting quite a lot of them.
Yeah,
really.
well, there's no big heroes. Your most expensive hero is Sharko at 70, so this is
Yeah.
still a fairly, high model count army considering it's all cavalry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you just said for 200 points you're getting Sharku and 10 Warg Riders.
Yeah.
So that is potentially very good.
Yeah, and if you just list build and deploy correctly, having that free thing, you basically can take ball control with half your army and a free shooting attack with the other half. Yeah, it's big. And there's another one. This one doesn't really, Maelstrom. So in scenarios that use the Maelstrom of battle special rule, a Wolves of Isengard army will automatically win the roll to choose who has priority on the first turn, if both armies have that roll as normal. Additionally, models from this army may charge on a turn they enter the board, even though they may not normally be allowed to do so. Models charging in this manner do not need to take a courage test when charging enemies with terror. See, these special rules seem way better than the majority of other special rules. Considering it's not a lot of variety again, but it's already a pretty good army.
That feels really appealing to me.
Yeah, same.
I mean, admittedly though, you're going to need a lot of models to play that, because you need all your Warg Riders, which kind of means you also need to have the Wargs and the Riders backup in case anything gets dismounted. So that's a lot of stuff to get. But I'd like to give this a go soon. Yeah. But we definitely don't have enough Wargs and Riders for that.
We don't, but it's not a particularly hard thing to get hold of, so it's definitely worth trying. But a free heroic combat every turn, and even getting your extra attack against cavalry. It's huge. It's huge.
I like that.
I like that a lot. Ooh.
Okay.
You're going to like this one more.
Now, we continue with Isengard and go back to potentially the more appealing way to run this faction. So this is the muster of Isengard. Again, you can have Saruman with a horse, then you can have Uruk-hai captains, Uruk-hai scout captains, Grima Wormtongue, again of course, along with Uruk-hai warriors, berserkers, and scouts. Oh, I want to run some berserkers. So for this one, you have to have Saruman, who is always your general. And special rules wise, again, is the don't break it till 66% instead of 50, always useful. And then you have Isengard Unleashed. During the first turn of the game, each friendly Uruk-hai hero may declare a heroic march for free. Additionally, Uruk-hai captains gain heroic strike. That could be huge. But that's not the only rule. There will be no Dawn for Men. Friendly Uruk-hai models gain the Hatred Man special rule. At this moment in the game, especially with so many new Rohan things coming out, and people probably wanting to run a lot of that, having Uruk-hai with Hatred Men, so strength 4, Hatred of Men.
Yeah, that's savage. Yeah, you're right. A lot of the probably playable armies at the moment are going to be men because everyone wants new shiny toys, and the two newest armies realistically are, you could still say Arnor.
Yes, true.
And Rohan.
Yeah.
And Wildmen.
Yeah. Yeah, and
they're all men.
Gondor's still not exactly a bad one either. So yeah, that could be potentially awesome. And I think that Isengard Unleashed special rule cannot be overlooked as well. Basically giving every Uruk-hai hero a free heroic march on turn 1. That could be massive. Yeah. And the fact that captains get strike. Obviously strike isn't quite the same now, it's only a D3. But still, they're still good. And even if you can only get a couple, that can take you above some like lower heroes.
Yeah, getting that free heroic march as well, because these are, well, at least you can have normal Uruk-hai, so they're not as squishy as scouts. Pushing them forward and gaining a strong line of ball control, turn 1, is massive.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of me that'd be tempted to just go, you know what, chuck in Saruman, fill it out with berserkers, and maybe have some crossbows. So you just go in, you know what, come at me and I'll shoot you with some strength 4, I'll come at you with a bunch of berserkers, who can now benefit a bit more from their two-handed weapon, and they're just a bit scary.
They are a bit scary. Yeah.
I would like to see, that's an experiment I want to try as well.
Do they still have their Feel No Pain?
Ooh, I think they may have. Did they lose that?
It's worth checking, I
'Cause
think, because
They lost the. In theory, they lost the defense 6 against shooting, but that has
Yeah.
been put into light armor that they now
yes,
have.
yeah, they do still have it. Yeah.
They do still have it. Okay. Yeah. So basically, if you're being shot, you're now defense 6, which is obviously massive when being shot at, especially against elves and stuff like that. But then also, just a casual 6, ignore a wound. I don't think it's ever happened when I've used them, but
No, you did it with something else in a battle, though.
yes, I can't remember what it was.
Was it a
now.
dwarf? Was it like Durin or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Berserkers haven't quite managed it. Yeah, but I ran a form of Urukai last time, so I feel like I can't do it again so soon. But I do also really want to run these guys at some
I
point.
think so far this is in my top 3. So far. But
I'm just an Isengard.
fanboy.
Yeah.
Oh, then you're going to love this one. So this one is, well, it's specific to the Assault upon Helm's Deep, which
Okay.
is why it's called Assault upon Helm's Deep.
Whoa.
Heroes are very limited in this one. There are no named heroes. You just have access to Urukai captains. However, they are better in this. You also get Urukai warriors, Berserkers, Urukai demolition team, and Isengard assault ballista. Pretty cool. Now, special rules. You do not know pain, you do not know fear. The breakpoint of this is 66% instead of 50. And commander of the Urukai captain, that is your general, increases its attacks and wounds to 3. So it's only the general. It's not all captains, so it's not amazing, but at least your main general isn't just a random captain.
Yeah. I mean, they're only 65 points as well, though. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Friendly Isengard assault ballistae may reroll to hit and scatter rolls of 1. Additionally, when a friendly demolition charge is detonated, you may roll 2 dice on the detonation table rather than 1 and pick either result.
Okay.
It's very specific to a siege, which makes sense. I've never tried using like a ballista and a demolition team in a normal battle. I don't really know how useful they'll be.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about it. Like, do you ever see anyone, get a bomb, place it on an objective, and then just go, you know what? Boom.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
No, it's cool. I like the idea of having a boatload of Urukai, personally,
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't see why I'd ever run this above.
above the other one. Yeah, no.
I guess the only issue with the other one, you have to take Saruman as your general. So you're kind of.
You have to, do you?
I think that's what it says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Must
So,
always contain Saruman.
yeah, which may not be appealing to everyone, but I think he might be worth having.
Yeah.
There's not enough other special rules in this for a standard battle, I think, to make it as appealing.
No, you're probably right there. Okay, what's next then?
Okay, we move on now. Ooh, okay. So, we now move to Rohan and the Usurpers of Edoras with the new shiny toys.
Yay.
So, here, this is obviously from the new War of the Rohirrim film, we have our heroes of Freka and Wolf, as well as General Targ, Lord Thorn, and Hill Tribes chieftains. Obviously then with Rohirrim traitors, Hill Tribesmen, and the Crabine again. So this one, you must... Oh, sorry. If your army includes Freka, he must be a general. And Rohan traitors or Rohirrim traitors can only go with Lord Thorn. As for special rules, they have whipped into a frenzy. So whenever a Hill Tribesman or Hill Tribes chieftain suffers a wound, on a natural 6, the wound is ignored. So yeah, that's pretty, for standard tribesmen, that's a pretty good thing to have. And as well as that, you got Barbarous Killers. Friendly Dunlop models gain a bonus of +1 to wound when making strikes against enemy hero models. That's not bad at all, really, because like we've been using these new Hill Tribesmen a little bit, and they're hoardy, they're squishy.
Yeah, very.
So little things like having a horde army that can actually ignore wounds on natural 6s. Quite a few of them die because you're going to have to take a lot. So the chances are that you're going to get a few that actually succeed.
Yeah.
It's not like a Berserker when they're like, because you're getting basically nearly 3 of these for 1 Berserker.
Yeah.
And then you've still got the same kind of all. So I think that's quite a nice one to have.
It makes up for the fact that their light shields suck.
Yeah,
Pretty
very
much,
much so,
yeah.
yeah. And then, +1 to wound against enemy heroes. That's good because it's everyone.
Yeah,
It's
I like
not
that.
just the heroes on heroes.
Because it's hoardy, the chances are at some point you're going to be surrounded and outnumbering enemy heroes, and law of averages will say at some point you'll win the duel roll.
Yeah, especially if you're chucking your big say you're chucking like a Frecker or a Wolf in, and then you're just chucking a load of them in as well, just try and finish someone off. If you can make it, like use a strike or something with Wolf, I think he has it. Might be assuming there. Yeah, then you could potentially have a turn where there's a lot of damage going in.
Yeah. I really like this list.
Yeah, because we've only really used these guys in scenarios so far, so we haven't really got the special rules and had a good chance to play with it properly yet. So I think having them this way will be a lot more fun than maybe the restrictions we've had on them so far. So yeah, this does seem like it would be an interesting one to do. Although we are going to need more to do this.
Yeah. It does appeal to me though. I have to be honest.
Yeah,
It does.
I love the sculpts. All the new sculpts, they're so nice.
Yeah, I see people complain about some of them, and I'm just like, what are you looking at something different to me? Because I think they look absolutely stunning. Like every single one.
Yep.
Frecker, Wolf, Lord Thorn, Targ. They're great. They're absolutely great. Another version of the new War of the Rohirrim bad guys then is the Besiegers of the Hornburg. This one is later on in the story, so no Frecker. He died. We have Wolf, General Targ, Hill Tribe's Chieftain, which we don't have a model for. Hopefully that'll be the Skull Mask dudes.
That would be an awesome choice to do, yeah.
yeah.
I agree with that. That would be so cool.
We have Shank, Rot, and Orc Scavengers, which is the Snow Troll and stuff. And Hill Tribesmen. Oh, and Crabine.
Just to confirm, there's no chieftain-looking person in the picture, is there?
No, I did look. No, definitely not.
Although, I don't necessarily recognise him.
Yeah, it's just a different weapon, I think.
It is it?
I think they probably just go at the moment, like, that guy's my captain.
Yeah, he just loom banding or something, just, yeah.
Okay, so, special rules. Wolf's Revenge. Whenever Wolf moves, he must always charge an enemy model if possible. Cool. Additionally, once per game, Wolf may declare a heroic challenge for free, though this heroic challenge must target the enemy general. Wolf may still do this even if the general has a lower heroic tier.
Okay.
Promise of Wealth. Friendly Dunland models within range of an objective marker gain a bonus of +1 to wound when making strikes. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
And Shank and Rot. Friendly Mordor models cannot benefit from the heroic actions or stand fast of friendly Dunland models, and vice versa.
Okay.
I don't see any reason, just looking at it, to take this over the other one. Like, no reason at all.
The only way would be is if you want to run the Snow Troll.
That is literally
Because it's the only
reason.
list he can be in.
It makes Wolf worse because he has to charge
yeah.
the closest enemy.
I don't like that.
And if you're up against this list and you know that rule, you just put your crap dudes in near him.
And just one of them. Yeah.
Just one, and then he is forced to charge you.
Yeah.
Making him completely. It's almost like he's been transfixed for the whole game. You know, it's just.
Yeah, especially if you planned it well and you say there's an objective here, Wolf here, and you just put one of your guys in range over this way, then you're taking him away from objectives. Like, you could play against that if you're smart about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that, especially as that's if it was like something, you know, like the twins. Like they get it if one dies, like that kind of thing. Aomir gets it if Eowyn dies, kind of thing. Like if an instant happens, then I kind of go, okay, thematic. This one's just
it's thematic because Daddy dead, so he's having it, but it's just already happened, so it's happened.
Yeah, but it
I
happened like
it.
months ago, years ago actually in the lore.
Yeah,
right?
get over it, dude.
Yeah. Okay. And we will get over it by moving on to the Depths of Moria. Let's have a quick look at. We haven't looked at some pictures in a moment, so we have a quick look at that because who doesn't like seeing some lovely Balrog looking photos?
Oh yes.
And it's also just looks so out of place. Even though it's not, he's in the Depths of Moria. Makes sense. So with this one, it's obviously the Balrog list. You can take Goblin Captains with it, the Watcher in the Water, and then Goblins and Cave Trolls. So special rules for this one, which are pretty cool. You have Drums in the Deep. Enemy models suffer a -1 penalty to any courage test they are required to take, whilst friendly Moria Goblin models gain a +1 to any courage tests they are required to take. Additionally, friendly Moria Goblin models always count as being in range of a banner. Always count as being in range of a banner.
That's really cool.
Like you're across the other side of the board and you're like, banner still. But yeah, so this is the wording I'll quickly pick up on as well. So enemy models suffer a -1 penalty to any courage tests. So when we were talking about the Blades of the Dead earlier, it's talking about the tests, not the value. So yeah, Blades of the Dead don't go against a test, they go against a value. And I think that's where the wording has changed. So moving on from that, you have Dominion of the Balrog. For any Moria Goblin models within 6 inches of the Balrog gain +1 to their fight value. Additionally, so long as the Balrog has at least 6 wounds remaining, a Depths of Moria army can never be broken. Should it have 5 or fewer, a Depths of Moria army will break as normal, and if it's removed, it's immediately counted as broken. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Very similar to Sauron in the terms of this one. Then there's kind of 2 rules that come together here. First, we have Shadow. Shooting attacks that target the Balrog will only ever hit on a roll of a 5+. Ooh. No more fancy Legolas, still hitting on a 5. Which is stupid because of how big he is. But it obviously...
Shadow.
Yeah, it's dark. And the other half is And Flame. Shadow and Flame.
Great name. It really is.
Once per game, at the start of the shoot phase, the Balrog may select a single enemy model within 3 inches of it and roll a d6. On a 2+, the model is immediately set ablaze. This is an active ability belonging to the Balrog, and after it has used this ability, the Balrog no longer benefits from the Shadow special roll. Okay.
So you do that, you take away the benefits of the
Yes.
5s.
But I guess once you've got into combat and everything's close, it might be worth it if you're against a big hero or something like that. But yeah, when you're at distance, there's no way you're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, not massive changes to this one. It's kind of like the Legendary Legion was a bit. The Balrog's always going to be cool. Goblins are still hardy. You're going to have to get to quite high points before you start taking the Balrog and the Watcher, although that would be quite fun to go together.
It would. You can't just like obstruct the Balrog anymore, right?
No, because there's the large target roll, which I've forgotten the correct name of.
Yeah. But essentially, when something's massive, you can't just put a goblin in front of it, and then it requires in the ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this list. I've always liked Moria goblin lists because they're so cheap. You can take something like a Balrog and still pack it out.
Yeah.
So they do always appeal to me, and the Balrog is a beast and a beautiful model too.
Yes.
So yeah, cool list. Okay, we only have a couple left, I think. Yeah, we have 2 left.
One more each.
One more each. So this one is Harad. Now Harad is something that, as a general faction in the game, was hit quite hard with the new edition, with the removal of pretty much all of Far Harad, which is such a shame because there were so many cool things in that, like half trolls. Come on, so cool. But this Harad list, you can include the Mumuk War Leader, 400 points. Whew. Haradrim Chieftain, War Mumuk of Harad, with all its optional extras, and Haradrim Warriors, that's it.
Ooh.
Additional rules, a Harad army may have up to 50% of its warriors armed with bows rather than 33. War Beasts from the south. Friendly Mumuk models gain the Harbinger of Evil 12-inch special rule. The Scorpion Sting. Friendly models with poison the poison attacks bow special rule. Exchange it for the poison attacks on all of their weapons. And Monstrous Rampage. Each hero that is commanding a Mumuk can once per game declare heroic combat for free whilst atop the Mumuk. When they do, the Mumuk will be affected as if they had been the one to declare the heroic combat, though they may not pivot before they trample as part of the combat.
Okay. I mean,
this bores me.
it does. I don't get the appeal for Harad. You going, okay, do you want a Mumuk War Leader? Or do you want Sauron? That's the equivalent. 400 points each. Okay, maybe some people might want to argue the Mumuk War Leader is better. I would still take a Sauron.
Yeah. I mean,
over
look,
that any day.
it's been a long time since we've used a Mumuk either in a casual game or on the channel. I like them because they're cool, but look, do you know what puts me off things?
Don't know.
Lots of rules.
Oh.
I'm a simple man, and Mumukils have a lot of rules, and I just want to be able to concentrate on what I'm doing, not remembering 30 rules, you know?
Yeah.
That probably sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but that's how I think about it.
Yeah. And I just look at it and see 400 points for the War Leader and go, like, that's a big chunk. You kind of got to go really high.
But you pretty much have to take one as well.
Yeah, you're not running this or not.
What's your options? Mumukil and some warriors.
Yeah.
Or Mumukil and some warriors. And if you're doing like a 1,000-point game, what are you taking? 2 Mumukils and some warriors?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a bit meh.
I mean, it would be, obviously it'd be a very boring list, but you could just take loads of chieftains and then Haradrim warriors, and they would all have poisoned weapons.
True,
Which
that's true.
would be interesting,
Yeah.
but I guess that's where you'd go for the earlier one. I've already forgotten the name, the Pelennor Fields one,
Yeah.
where you can take a Haradrim warband inside of something else.
Yes.
Although you wouldn't get the poison weapon, so I guess that would go against it. But yeah, it's
I mean, how much is a Haradrim warrior? They're cheap, right? 6.7.
7 to give him weapon.
Yeah, if you took this army as loads of chieftains and loads of warriors with poisonous weapons, that could be quite deadly. Actually, it really could.
It's just that lack of variety.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it
just
is.
a bit boring. It's a shame because I feel like Harad armies have the potential to be really, really cool.
Had the potential.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. Do you guys like this army? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I do find it funny. Everyone's like, oh, they've removed some Harad because they're in the new movie, so we're going to get loads of new stuff.
Eek.
Yeah, we might get a deranged Mumuk that's smaller than standard Mumuks. That's about it, yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay, moving on from then.
Final one.
Finally, we reach Peter Jackson.
Hey.
And the Corsairs fleet. So, here, again, not an awful lot of variety with him. You have the Corsair Captain, the Corsair Bosun, and then Corsairs of Umbar and the Corsair Ballista. With them, you must always you must contain a Corsair Captain, who is your general. It's getting a long video. Then you have the Fleet Master special rule. So the Captain, who is your general, increases their attack rolls to 3 on each, and gains the Fearless and Sharpshooter special rules, which is quite cool when he can take a crossbow, and so can the Bosun. However, there's no crossbows with the normal Corsairs.
That's a shame.
It is a massive shame. They can have bows, just not their crossbows. But there are a couple of other special rules. The Last Stroke of Doom. Friendly Corsair models gain the Backstabber special rule, which is actually pretty good. And the Ballistae Assault, after both sides have deployed, but before the first turn of the game, a single Corsair Ballista may make a shooting attack following all the normal rules for doing so. I mean, how gutted would you be? Like, okay, yeah, cool, push everything down, let's go. Oh, you get to shoot first? Okay, yeah, cool. Oh, my general died? I mean, it would be a half a shot, admittedly.
Yeah.
Not very likely, but yeah, you would be gutted if you're like, oh, I can't wait to run. We haven't even started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Put
a fan
against the Wolves of Isengard. Oh. And they get the free extra thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I like crossbows. I said it before. So I like that the heroes can have crossbows.
Yeah.
You know, they got rid of Rasku, who was the crossbow Urukai guy. But Corsairs can have it now. The issue with them is there's no alliance with this. You're just taking Corsairs. And it's annoying because I like them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd like just them.
Yeah. I feel like competitively they're a cool army, but they were cool allied with someone else.
Yes.
Visually and aesthetically, I think they're cool. They're literally just pirates, and that's cool. What's cooler than pirates? It doesn't show the ballista on this picture though, which surprises me.
Oh yeah, true.
Like for such a big part of the list, it's not actually on there, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Very cool art though. I say art, photo. Yeah.
I now want to get a board that's got a bit of a dock and a ship in the middle and do a thing like that. Would be yeah.
That'd be very cool. We need to get some of these.
Yeah, we do.
We don't have any Corsairs, which is a massive shame.
Yeah, we keep wanting to get stuff, but yeah, until the Armies of Middle-earth book comes out as well, we're holding off on some stuff, and there's just so many things now we're like, okay, this one and this one.
Not just that, but it costs a lot of money to run this channel. So you should definitely check out our Patreon, because it allows us to buy things like Corsairs and have more variety in our battles. So yeah, check that out. You also get access to our Discord and a load of exclusive content.
Yeah.
Okay, we've gone through every single evil list from the Lord of the Rings book.
Oh.
Give me your top 3.
Oh, God.
Pressure.
Okay, wait, top 3 in terms of what I think might be the best, or top 3 of...
What excites you?
What would I like to play?
What excites
you? So before we get told before we rank things wrong, it's what we like. Okay, I'm definitely going to go for the Muster of Isengard as one.
That's a good shout.
Really boringly, I also want to go Ugluk Scouts. So that's 2 Uruk-based ones in one go. No, I'm not going to say Wolves of Isengard, because then that's just all Isengard, and that's just not fair. To be honest, the Gorbag and Shagrat one.
Cirith Ungol.
Cirith Ungol. I think that might be, they're my top 3. I think I might go the Saruman Isengard, Cirith Ungol, and then Ugluk Scouts. Yeah, I think I'm going that as what I'd like to try out. Admittedly, I've basically just gone all Uruks because it's the Uruks in Cirith Ungol as well.
It's true, yeah.
Whoops. But yeah, what's yours?
I think the ones you've said definitely appeal to me, but I think for me, what I'd go for would probably be 3rd, Cirith Ungol, 2nd, Wolves of Isengard, and 1st, and it is purely down to shiny new toy, would be the Usurpers of Edoras.
Yeah, they'd definitely be top 5 for me,
Yeah.
Usurpers.
I've lost them. There they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the rules. I feel like they're a lot more buff within this list, within this legion, than they are if you play them in scenarios.
100%.
You also essentially get to use Rohan in them, just
Yeah.
unmounted.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're very hoardy, which is quite nice for a men
But
list.
have good heroes.
Yes.
In this version. In the other version, Wolf sucks.
Yeah, you're definitely taking this one over the other one. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. To be fair, there's not really. Okay, there's one or two that I'm less interested in,
Yeah.
which is mainly like the Black Riders hero
Yeah.
based ones. But there's not really many in here that I would be like, oh, I really don't want to play. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think it is too. Last question then. Do you prefer the evil armies lists or the good armies lists?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, somehow I tend to end up playing evil more. So
That's
I
because
guess
I like good.
yeah. So I guess I maybe go slightly towards that now, but I think I've got to go good. Although a lot of the good is stuff that I'm still waiting to find out about.
Aren't we all,
that I
James?
really want. Like, I want to run fiefdoms. I want to run Prince Imrahil and him not be really overpriced.
Yeah, I do hope they're good. I really
Yeah.
do, because they're a cool army.
Yeah, so there's things like that, but I don't think I could pick if I'm honest. What would you say?
I prefer evil now than I did in the last edition, and that's thanks to some of the new
Yeah.
legions, but still good for me.
Okay, yeah, that's
Definitely
fair.
still good. I'm very excited to build some lists over this festive period, ready for some tournaments in the new year.
Yes.
Which will hopefully be vlogging as well. So,
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys, let us know in the comments down below what were your top 3 lists from the evil lists in this book. I'm very curious to know. Let us know what you think are the most powerful and what ones excite you most.
Yes. And what ones you want to see us use on the channel as well?
Of course. Yeah, of course. As always, I'm not sure when this goes up actually. Hope you have or had a great Christmas and have or had a great New Year, depending on when you watch this. Again, check out our Patreon if you want more content. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Tabletop Alliance.
Bye, guys.